Don't skip ahead to the beginning of this story. One small mistake turned a respected judge into a federal prisoner. The most unexpected thing happens near the end. Level 1. You've spent 22 years building a name that means something. Fair, sharp, untouchable. Lawyers prepare for weeks before stepping into your courtroom. You've never been reversed on appeal more than twice in a single year. You took the oath seriously and it showed. Then one morning, an envelope sits on your desk. Level 2. The first envelope, $50,000. Cashier's checks. A note with 4 words, Case 1-142. Rule correctly. You read the file. The law already favors the defendant. You were going to rule that way regardless. So you tell yourself the money changes nothing. You rule for the defendant. You cash the checks. That's where it starts. Level 3. 3 weeks later, a lawyer calls your personal cell. He says his client is grateful. He says there's another case. This one is messier. The law doesn't clearly favor his side. You have to work for it. You discount testimony. You reframe legal precedent. You write a ruling that sounds correct without being correct. $80,000 this time. You tell yourself it's still civil court. No real victims. Just money moving between rich people. You're already lying to yourself and you know it. Level 4, more cases come. You build a system. Small procedural moves. Evidence suppressed on technicalities. Witnesses dismissed on standing. Nothing obvious enough to trigger review. You're handling 3 compromised cases at the same time. The money adds up fast. You buy a second property. Your wife asks where the money is coming from. You say the markets have been good. She believes you. You've become someone who lies easily inside his own home. Level 5. A man named Carver sends someone to meet you in a parking garage. His client is facing fraud charges. Carver's man slides a folder across the hood of your car. Inside are photographs. You? The lawyer? The transfers? He doesn't ask. He tells you his client expects a favorable outcome. You spend 2 days telling yourself you won't do it. Then you do it. Level 6. The fraud case takes 4 months. You throw out key evidence. The defendant walks. The prosecutor appeals. The appeal goes nowhere. $120,000. Carver's people come back with more cases. Then more after that. You stop feeling sick about it. That's the part that should scare you most. You're not struggling with the decisions anymore. You're just making them. Level 7. A state senator's major donor is facing bribery charges. The senator never contacts you directly. He doesn't have to. People who mention his name start calling you. Casually. Like it's normal. The case has real victims. A stolen city contract worth millions. Witnesses. Documents. You kill it in pre-trial hearings. $250,000. The story runs in the press for 2 days, then disappears. You think you're untouchable. You're not. You're just not caught yet. Level 8. Your clerk of 11 years closes your chamber door one afternoon. She doesn't accuse you. She just says she's noticed patterns in your recent rulings. That they don't read like your work. You tell her she's misreading the cases. She nods slowly and says she hopes so. She resigns 3 weeks later. No explanation. Just a clean desk and a short thank you letter. You don't sleep well after that. Level 9. The people behind the senator come back. A federal money laundering case has landed in your district. The chain of connections runs straight back to your first cashier's check. They need it buried. You tell them a federal case is too risky. Too much outside oversight. They remind you of the photographs. You have no leverage. You built yourself a box and handed them the key the moment you cashed that first check. You gut the federal case. Level 10. A journalist notices something in an old appeal record. A retired prosecutor follows up. Then the Justice Department gets involved. They spend 8 months building the case quietly before they move. 14 compromised trials. Wire transfers traced through 3 shell accounts. Testimony from people you trusted who stopped trusting you. You start feeling it closing in, but you can't stop it. There's nothing left to do except wait. Level 11. 6 federal agents. 6 a.m. your front door. Your wife answers in her robe. You hear her voice go from confused to frightened in about 10 seconds. You're already dressed when you come downstairs. They read your rights in your own foyer. Your wife stands in the doorway and looks at you, not with anger, with something worse. The look of someone who just realized the last 3 years of her life were built on a lie. Level 12. The trial takes 11 months. Every case you touched gets examined. Every transfer. Every defendant who walked free gets a second look. You cooperate. You testify against Carver, the senator's people, everyone connected to the network. It saves you from the worst charges. It doesn't save you from anything else. 7 years in federal prison, permanent disbarment, every asset forfeited. Level 13, what you lose your wife files for divorce before sentencing. Your children don't come to the hearing. The day your conviction is announced, the news uses your investiture photo. You're standing in your robes, looking exactly like the judge you promised to be. The caption reads, "Judge sentenced in decade-long corruption scheme." Level 14. You think about the first envelope sometimes, $50,000. A case you were going to rule correctly anyway. One decision, one justification, one lie you told yourself so smoothly you almost believed it. You weren't weak, you weren't desperate, you were careful and smart, and you did it anyway. That's the part that follows you into the cell. Not the crimes, not the sentence, the fact that you knew exactly what you were doing every single time.